Back in the 90s, my father's birthday was coming up and I wanted to make a replica of his car. Still have both that and the real car today.
No idea Anthony's doing models, none whatsoever. Okay. And then he comes up with the idea, well, why don't we do a model stuff? Yeah.
Our friends Luke and Bernie had put models on here display with their president of the club, Ron. I walked in, saw those. This is pre-pandemic. I went to a swap meet and bought a small magazine about model shows and stuff from the 60s. And I presented it to the membership, and we ran it by everybody to see about doing a model show, and then it just started going. And we didn't realize how many members of the club still had models or still build them. I didn't think it was going to be as big as it is. I got a lot of very positive response to do this. We're going to try to keep it going for the future.
I started with an AMT 56 Ford, shaved off all the chrome on it, hunted down a promotional dash. Basically, the Continental kit and everything was scratch built. The name Just a Dream is photo reduced from a picture.
How did you match the paint?
Actually, it was the Tester's baby blue enamel at the time, and it was almost a dead ringer. I've tried to reproduce it again, and it's nowhere close. It's like a shade or two darker.
Yeah, that's great with that white. Just a little creaminess to it.
Yep, that was, I believe, the Tester's Classic White.
Perfect.
There was a group of guys who would always get together, go to parking lots and just hang out that had their hot rods, and one day they decided to start Connecticut Street Rod Association in 1967. I came into the club in 72, 73, just out of high school. Don, I believe maybe two of the original members who founded the club are still with us. This year, we're celebrating our 55th anniversary. So Father's Day weekend this year, we're holding our 55th reunion. Our club annually, on Monday night, we hold a Connecticut Drag Racers reunion. We called it Nostalgia Night. So this year, we begin on Saturday with a reunion of former club members at our clubhouse. Sunday, we're having an open house at our clubhouse. And Monday night in North Haven Fairgrounds, we're holding our Nostalgia Night event. So for the club, we've always stayed focused on cars and hot rods and street rods. And the dream of us having our own clubhouse began in the year 2000. And in the year 2001, we actually became owners of this property. One of our goals has always been to have a place that we call our own so that future generations could come to a place that they could call their own with no indebtedness. There will always be, if you look at racetracks in Connecticut as an example, we've lost racetracks. One thing CSRA will not lose is the opportunity for younger people who have an interest in this to have a place to call home. The example of the model kit show we're doing here today is another example of keeping the interest in the cars alive, even for the younger generations.
And the club itself has always been very conscious and very helpful to the community.
Yes, we do donations. We are civic-minded. It will be at the food kitchens or the Bikes for Kids at Christmas time, at the fuel bank. Our members who attended technical schools for the automotive class, we give a little bit of a scholarship to help out. We'll do the best we can to keep our name out there, but also to spread the word and try to support people as long as it's based on automotive-related stuff.
My father bought me a 44 two-door sedan when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And I built it in my mother's backyard.
Yeah.
And I started to go to Connecticut Dragway.
Yeah.
I put 7 engines and 9 transmissions in that car between 15 years old and when I got drafted at 19 years old in the summer of 65.
So did you start out with the flathead and then
I started out with 2
overhead
flatheads,
valves,
then I went to a 265 Chevrolet.
stepping it up?
And then a doctor crashed up a 327 powered 62 Chevy Impala, and I bought it from a local junkyard
that was nice.
for $300, and I put the 327 in the 40 Ford, and I was a street racer on the Berlin Turnpike in Connecticut, and it was a lot of fun. I ended up with a 409, 425 horse in the 44. I put it in overnight on a weekend pass from in the service up in Fort Devens, Massachusetts. And I raced a couple of guys, and I beat them all, and the word spread out in my town. And it was just before I went to Vietnam, and I left the car home up on blocks. I had a lot of experiences in combat. I had to write my book. It's called Vietnam Beyond. I was going to a veterans writing group for about 8 years, so I had a lot of blogs that I'd written. So all I had to do during the pandemic, I had to put everything together, and then I did a lot of research, bought a brand new computer, and put my book together. It's all my words, and I'm so proud of it.
Talk about being determined. You did your homework and you pulled it off.
Exactly. These are the actual cars that my son and I put together and built. And they're all street-driven, gassers. I was there on opening day in June of 1961 at Connecticut Dragway, and then I never lost the love of it. So hot rodding has been my lifetime passion. You can see that.
I get a lot of inspiration from guys like you, watching the videos and seeing the pictures and seeing cars at N&L and whatnot, so it keeps me going.
It's all there for inspiration.
Oh, absolutely.
Just want to keep everyone building. You inspired someone else to build?
Yes. My wife. She started building several years ago with me for a 24-hour build-up.
It's got a Facebook event group.
And people from all over the globe. We have a really great time. With us, we're usually just in the hobby room. We got our snacks set up, and if we make it to the finish line, we make it. If not, well, we tried.
It's always Monday.
Yes, exactly.
You learn a lot about what you can get done in 24 hours and what you can't, especially paint. What paint schemes can you accomplish? What paint is going to dry in time? This one I airbrushed with nail polish. That's a OPI nail polish. The name was I'm Not Really a Waitress. It was my favorite nail polish at the time. That car did not get done in 24 hours.
These two were from this year's. Paula got the inspiration from a VW that she had seen in town.
I drove past a new Dub and it was brown, and I thought, wow, that looks like an M&M. So Vern found the kit, and he decided to do the same kit, only as the tuner version. So we built these side by side.
What a cool deal, working together.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that 24-hour build, everyone's developed over the years a little more strategy. Okay, what kit should I build and what paint should I use so I can get it done? And then I think it becomes, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to build it and take as long as it takes.
Yeah, right. It's not a competition.
It's fun.
It's just fun.
That's how this started. This was a 24-hour build, and that actually did go into Monday, Tuesday, a week.
But there's a lot of cool fun.
It was a lot of fun.
The cool hours on it. All right, guys. If you're ever in Connecticut, the one thing you've got to do is get some great donuts. Heavenly Donuts. They're Neil's Donuts. These are an experience. They're like the best donuts around. I challenge anyone in Seattle or Portland or Houston. Connecticut's got the best. Okay, Ron has had his Roadster since he was in high school.
Just after high school. Once I graduated, I knew I wanted a hot rod. The 32 Ford Roadster is an iconic car. It is the hot rod to have. And I was fortunate enough to find this one in Connecticut. And back then when I found it, it was $1,100. but it used to be a B-alter. So the body was sitting up on top of the frame, held up by 2x4s just to give it the look it has today. As the years are going on, I've literally rebuilt that car from the ground up 3 times. Through the years, I've learned the history on the car. It ran Connecticut Dragway in 1961 as a B-alter. I've met the fellow who originally built the car from an original 32 Ford, just an old antique car that they turned into a B-alter. And with the car as it stands today, we've driven that car to California and back twice so far. It is, it's well known all over the world, and having it now for 49 years, we've just done an awful lot with it. What you see now is an extremely rare combination. The engine block is a Ford Flathead 1948 with an overhead valve conversion on it that was built in Manhattan by Ardent Mechanical Company. The blueprints are dated 1947 for that Hemi head conversion. The supercharger comes from Torino, Italy, made by Scott Company. And I just, through the years, I'm into traditional stuff, and I just kept looking for the parts I wanted to put on that engine to keep it looking the traditional version that it is today. It's a 60s or early 60s looking car, which is, it's realistically ultra modern, and the inside the engine's ultra modern. I've done amazing stuff internally, made all the parts externally, and just did that in my little oversized one-car garage at home. It's just a passion. All winter long work on it, and then in the spring take it out and enjoy it.
You've worked that over the years, made changes to perfect it. Are you done?
Overall, I am completed with the car. To me, obviously I'm into the models. Back when I was young, I could never afford the Big Deuce model. But that's my example of the Big Deuce today. You know, the wheels, the dash panel, the Halibran quick change. All of those parts are on the Big Deuce. There's my canvas of the Big Deuce. Just continue to maintain it.
Living in Connecticut, I see you on the road quite often. I mean, you drive the car, which I think is wonderful.
It is my daily driver. The weather's good, I'm using the car. I'm not saving it for someone else, I'm enjoying the car.
So Bernie, I heard you were involved in getting this display together at the clubhouse.
Yep.
In the hallway. Laura told me about it, and I didn't realize until I got here that it's immense. I thought it would be a case, 20 models.
A good friend of mine, Luke Rossi from California, actually hit me up. We have an opportunity to do a showcase for the Connecticut Street Rod Association. So we thought it was just going to be like one of these small cases. Sure. Laura said, no, it's the big case. And we're like, oh, wow. So we brought down not only vintage builds that we've collected over the years, but also some of our more modern builds. Showcase the difference between the technologies and the materials and the kits themselves. This 60 Chevy here, for example, I got this from a gentleman offline. He had built this car back in the day. There was a dragster that was part of that, which had been stolen. But the trailer that's behind it was made from toothbrush cases, painted from the inside.
Yeah.
It's amazing what was accomplished then with very little. Like today we have all the cottage industries making resin parts and 3D parts and whatnot.
Every one of these is a gem.
Now, this reminds me so much of when I was a kid going to the hobby shop, the local sporting goods store, and some of them would put model cars in the window of the store, they'd have a contest with it. And so many of these cars are from that era. The paint, there's a lavender Deuce down there. It just reminds me of 1960. That was the paint they had, and it was the model. Very well done in a nostalgic.
Absolutely. And you can see the interior was done up, was what looks like the inside of a cigarette pack.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this.
Perfect.
The hood, everything is glued in place, just the way it is, and it came in the mail. I was really praying that nothing had broken off of it, but it's in really good shape.
It's really, yeah. I mean, that was the way it was done then.
Yep, absolutely.
Make it right.
This, a lady had line for sale. She didn't know what scale it was. I guess her father had built it back in the day, and she had it in a box. And I remember the first time I saw it, it was in like a cat food case, laying in the lid. It needs some repairs. There are some pieces missing, like a couple of the A-frame pieces and that. And I found out it was actually a toy from Japan that somebody had heavily modified. It's really cool. I'd pick it up, but
Right, but who knows what might fall. I mean, it's got fuel lines, it's got ignition.
Yep.
I mean, that was just the way we wanted to detail.
The seat swivel.
Check out this one right here. And seatbelts.
And seatbelts. The other bigger builds belong to Ron, but we had a little bit of space left and wanted to bring them down. So.
A lot of the awards now are they all look alike.
Look at that, you know where it's from.
Yeah.
Very, very unique.
Yeah, it
absolutely.
really, as I first walked by here, that really caught my eye.
I actually found that at a yard sale for $3.
And all these parts packs too. These parts packs were what we all loved.
Yep.
You know, we looked at that and you're like, oh man, it's
Right, and then
like
they had the
79
custom grills.
cents. Or how much? Oh, that's 69 cents. That's a deal right there. Yeah.
If only we could find them at that price now.
Oh yeah. Each one is its own work of art.
Very nice. This is
A great display. And the cat from AMT.
My inspiration for my
Check it out.
Great
display. I thank you guys for all your effort.
I thank you both for your inspiration.
That's what it's all about.
Glad everybody's here and enjoying it, because certainly a lot of smiling faces here, that's for sure.